Hey, welcome to the show, Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. This is Coach James Short, aka Shorty, and this is a show for those within the real estate industry wanting to lead and grow their real estate business. It's a series of interviews that we conduct for those within the industry. So we're finding out what those leaders are within the industry, what makes them tick, what's their story, what are their strategies, and how to become the leaders and the growers within the industry. But also, it's an interview series with those outside of the industry. I'm always a big believer of looking at a whole different part of the pie rather than just focusing on one part of the pie. Because what it does, it allows you to have a different perspective, allows you to get snippets or golden nuggets from those outside of the industry that can look into the industry and go, there's a different perspective. And so I encourage you to reach out to the guests. I encourage you to lean into these series to find out how can these pieces of information, experiences, stories help you lead and grow your real estate business. I'm excited to have you here today with our next guest, because this next guest, she is known out there in the industry, both as an agent, but also as an incredible trainer and assessor. Alex Glen-Holmes. Alex brings over 15 years of real estate experience to unique training providers. With a strong focus of customer service, she delivers qualifications in a clear and relatable way, making complex concepts easy to understand. After dedicating countless hours to expanding her industry knowledge and building a successful real estate career, Alex has shifted her focus to face-to-face training. She aims to address industry gaps and help aspiring agents reach their full potential, all while equipping them with the latest skills and techniques to provide exceptional service to their clients. She's also has been an agent for the past 18 years. Alex, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on the show. Welcome and thank you for making the time.
Thanks for having me.
Now, 18 years ago, let's take us back to that beginning of when you first started within the industry. What made you want to get into real estate?
Real estate was something that I always had an interest in. I grew up, my father was in the building trade and was always renovating. I lost my dad on a building site from a heart attack, and it was now or never. It was, this is the time. So I was working as a practice manager in medical at the time, and I decided that for my birthday, which was the following couple of weeks later, that I was going to buy the certificate of registration course for myself for my birthday.
Love it.
And that started it.
Love it. Fantastic. And then you had a couple of years as an agent, and then you transitioned into the training and assessing space. What
Yep.
what then sparked that change and that direction?
I have always been interested in education. Something that's always been big with me. I was seeing a lot of agents coming into the industry that were doing everything online and had no idea what they were reading and what they were doing. I even had one tell me that he'd got his wife to do it for him, and that was like nails on a chalkboard to me. I like things to be done properly and people to understand what they're doing. And we are there to service the community. How can we do that if we don't have the knowledge behind us when we're dealing with people's most expensive asset? So I decided I would go and do further education and do my training and assessing course. And my whole thing was to do face-to-face. So I tend to do small groups, usually 5. I'll do up to 10 at a time, breaking it down into manageable bites so that we have 4 to 5 hours at a time. They understand exactly what we're doing. If I do day classes, I provide lunch so I can hold them hostage for the day. Yeah, there is some method to my madness.
I love it. I love it. And that's so true, right? Because if you really think about it, the real estate industry is, eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly. It's that you're
Yeah.
sitting in someone's lounge room or or an office. You're not necessarily doing transactions, online or trying to sell real estate online. It is that face to face, and by then transferring that skills, as you've said, from online to then around the workshop table, so to speak, to getting them to actually really experience those different those different traits and those different skills. So talk to me about the process of how you think that training has changed over the last, say, 15 years, and what have you noticed?
It's changed massively since, for example, when I did my license 18 years ago, that was 9 hours a week, face to face, over 10 months. We had huge case studies that we did. Like, I can remember having to do a 30,000 word essay, and I hadn't written an essay since I'd left school, which was
Wow.
20 odd years beforehand. So that was a bit of a nightmare. And having kids that were doing year 10 at the time, it was like, if I'm going to do this, I've got to do it well because I'm on their case. So it was interesting.
Hey guys, just a little side note here. How's it going? Are you on track this year? I know that sometimes this part of the year we can feel like we're in a bit of a grind, a bit of in the trenches. Are you on track from the original plans that you set out for the rest of this year? What I've realized is that with this time of year, we get so distracted and we've got trying to chase so many shiny balls and go down so many rabbit holes. And that's why I created a program called the 90. It's a framework that actually allows you to achieve more in 90 days than ever before. Some of the feedback that we've got from some of the people that have used the process, the 90, is that they've achieved more in 90 days than the whole previous year. So if you'd like to have the tools, have the techniques, have the framework on the 90, so you and your team can achieve more in 90 days than ever before. What it does, it impacts you of how to get clear, what you need to do, and who you need to be to show up in order to achieve the things you want to achieve over the next 90 days. Simply head over to jamesshort.com.au, click on join the waitlist, fill in your details, and one of the team members will be in touch and take you through the 90 framework. On with the show.
The thing now is, in 2009 in New South Wales, that training changed, and trainers now mainly just train legislation.
Yep.
That's all the courses really are. What's missing is that how to. Now, that was supposed to be done by the officers, but I think a lot of officers actually missed that memo, and they expect people to come in and there's your desk, there's your phone, go to work. It's not like that. And especially since we've had the reforms, it's very much an assistant agent for at least 12 months or 6 months should be actually working with an agent to be trained. It's like a traineeship. So training's changed in a big way, whereas there's not that especially online, there's not that experience that's being led. So that's what I try to do with face-to-face, is put things into context. And I'm very upfront of these are the mistakes I've made along the way. I'm letting you know about them so you don't make these mistakes and do it the hard way. And this is what happens if you do this. When you think about it, real estate is primarily about relationships. You cannot learn relationships online.
Yeah, so true, right? So true. And I think we got to realize that obviously through COVID and now coming back over the last couple of years, that just that connection piece, it's so important, and building those relationships. What have you noticed? I mean, you've got a great understanding of the industry and what works really well in relations to training and assessing. What are you noticing out there for those officers that are really, firing in all cylinders and going really well, compared to those who may be struggling at the moment in context with their training and I guess across the different aspects of, as you just said, with the assistant agent? What are you noticing is those who are going really well? What are you noticing that those are struggling?
Again, it comes down to education. A lot of people think that do my certificate, do my license, do my CPD each year, I'm keeping up to date. There is more to real estate than just the legislation. As we said before, it's a people-to-people industry. So the one thing I made sure I always did through my career was I attended at least 2 outside industry training sessions a year. So I'm in Port Macquarie. I would either travel to Sydney or Brisbane. It's that extra education. It's learning about different ways of marketing. It's the different ways of doing things. Now, the thing I find, agencies that bring in this extra education over and above what is needed, they're the ones that make a difference. They're the ones that their people really improve, really go places. So it makes a huge difference. And we can't just rely on our licensees in charge to provide that for us. We are our own business within a business, so we need to make the effort to go and source that. So whether it's reading material, now in New South Wales, with the way the legislation is in the training plan, you are supposed to be doing something quarterly. CPD is just part of that. So they're the people that make a difference.
Yeah, fantastic. That's so true. So if a director or a principal or even someone running a small team is listening to this and they go, yeah, Alex, you hit the nail on the head. It's no, I know I've got to do something, like, but I don't know where to start. What would you recommend for them to go, all right, here is a starting point, and this is what, just to get started with some further education and training, what would you recommend?
We have some great coaches out there, yourself included. It's whether they travel, well, you can do it online with Zoom. It's still personable rather than just sitting reading something. I always called my car the University on Wheels because I was always playing CDs or whatever podcasts, so that I'm always educating. And it's been interesting, my kids growing up, I can remember when they were doing their HSC and doing business at school and come home and went, I actually know a lot of this stuff, but I don't know why I know it. It's what they've taken in subliminally being in the car while I've had this stuff on. Yep. So it's interesting how it passes through. There's plenty of opportunity out there. You've just got to grasp it. And we all look at, when we go into appraisals, what's our point of difference? If we are all doing the same thing, what is our point of difference? So go out, do a bit of travel, have a look around and see what else is out there, because there's some fantastic things out there. Even just going to ARIC each year, what a team can actually pull from that. And if they do that as a team, they're all on the same page, and it makes such a difference.
That's so true, right? Because I think, attending the conferences as a team, it's super important, because if you're just a director or a principal or an agent, leading agent, and you go yourself, you come back and you get fully excited. And so the team are on a different page. But if you all go together, then you go, okay, what are the next steps? What are we going to focus on? Because there's so many good takeaways, but if you just have that one or two or three different things that you're going to focus on, it certainly make a difference. What's the on the horizon for UTP? What are you guys focusing on, and what's the direction you guys are taking over the next 12 months as we're leading into 2025?
So we've very much got the CPD courses up and happening at the moment. We are also looking at bringing in short courses into agencies for that reason, for that extra education. We've had a few that have sort of said, okay, we've got to do these different things. Where do we do it? How do we do it? So that's why we've actually been writing some of these shorter courses. And we found through CPD and some of the questions that we'll ask within those classes, it's amazing how many people have forgotten how to properly do an appraisal. Just the finer points. So these are the sort of things that we've structured this around, going back to basics, but without it being boring, feeling like it's a lecture series, but bringing it back in. And I'm very much involved with my training. It's all about involvement. So it's open discussion, because I feel the more people are involved, the more they learn from it. So it's having those discussions of how we can do this better, what we can improve, what are we offering as our point of difference to the industry.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You would have also seen and experienced a different in age categories as well coming through the training.
Yeah.
What are you noticing as a transition for those younger agents as they come through compared to the more mature agents? Because of things like technology and so forth, what are you noticing is the big difference between the younger agents and the more mature agents in relations to, let's go, communication? What are you noticing is the biggest difference there in relations to how they're communicating?
A lot of agents don't like, especially the younger ones, don't like picking up the phone. They think they can do everything by text and email, but they've also got to be aware that they are dealing with a community of lots of different age groups. So it needs to be a mix of those. Um, People need to get to know you as well as you getting to know them. And if you aren't doing some of the face-to-face, I mean, technology's made life so much easier. When I first entered into real estate, and this makes me feel really old, I took a CRM into the business and implemented that. Up until then, they were using paper cards.
Wow.
So I can remember when one of the guy's sons went overseas and brought back the first iPhone. And it was like, wow, this is different. And I mean, it's not that long ago, guys. We're only up to number 16 at the moment, so it's not that long. But yeah, it's changed so much in that 18 years. I mean, I can remember drawing up floor plans and faxing them to people that were coming up from Sydney so they had an idea of what they were looking at.
Mm.
The difference is it has made life easier in a lot of ways, but it's the same as everything else. It's only as good as what you put in. And if you're not putting the information in detail, I look at some agents' notes and it's all abbreviations. How's that going to help someone else if you're off?
Yeah.
So it's utilising the technology, but make sure it's being used properly and to the full advantage of it.
Yeah, so true. I love that. I love that because it's at the end of the day, coming back to, as you said previously, getting really comfortable with those fundamentals and always coming back to those fundamentals. And I think communication and relationship is such a fundamental thing that we can get the latest technology and we can get the latest software and whatever that is. But at the end of the day, you're still meeting people in their lounge room, around a coffee table, wherever there is. And we need to understand how best to communicate to the people on the other side. So I love that. Well done.
It's just a tool.
Just a tool. So true. Alex, on our show, we have our little 60-second quiz to find out a little bit more about our guests. Are you willing to play?
I'm willing to play.
Cool. Here we go. What's your favorite movie?
Greatest show on earth.
Oh, I love it. What's your favorite food?
Salads, actually.
Yum, yum. What's your favorite holiday destination?
Airlie Beach.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. What's your morning routine?
Very slow morning. I admit it. I'm a night person. Mainly get up, put on a load of washing, make the bed, have breakfast, and head into my office.
Fantastic.
I work my way down the house. That's days I'm working from home. Days that I'm in my training rooms, I'm up early. I go and buy fresh food. So we've got lunches and everything, and off we go.
Love it. What's your evening routine?
My evening routine. Well, apart from this, I actually run other businesses as well with my husband. So depending on, sometimes I'm actually invoicing, but it's quite often cook tea, do some more invoicing, and then chill out from about 9 o'clock till I go to bed about 10.
Nice, nice. And do you have a most embarrassing moment?
Oh, far too many. Far too many. I can be a bit of a klutz. So it's when you're trying to impress people at a multi-million-dollar listing and you slip down the driveway because you're not looking where you're going, and trying to remain classy. Yeah, it doesn't quite work.
Ouch, ouch. If you could choose 5 inspirational people to have dinner with, who would they be? They could be dead or alive.
Sid Ziegler, Mother Teresa, Princess Diana, Bob Hawke, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know who my 5th one would be.
That's okay. That's fine.
I follow lots of different people, so of all different walks of life. So, yeah.
Good. All right. Fantastic. And if you were Prime Minister for the day, what's one thing that you would change?
Red tape and taxes. I want to. I'm greedy. Making easier for business to actually do business.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. And what's your best piece of advice?
Never stop learning. Doesn't matter what age you are. It's we're always learning, we're always evolving, we're always changing. As they say, you're not a tree, you can move. If you don't like it, move on to the next bit. But we all start at the bottom, we all go step by step, and that's only improved if we keep improving ourselves.
Yeah, I love it. That's so important, so true. So how can the audience find out a bit more about your training programs, what's coming up? Where can they go?
So you can email me at alex@uniquetrainingproviders.com.au, or you can go to our website, which is uniquetrainingproviders.com.au.
Amazing. Awesome. Alex, really appreciate your time, your experience, your knowledge. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.